What's going on, y'all? My name is Christopher Life Willers, and this, well, happens to be the Stay Free stream. And what it is it's me. I get up here every single day that I can, every chance that I get to talk about prison, something that I know well because in 2003, I was sentenced to 144 years in prison. And my mission when I get up here is not to just talk about me and my story, but it's to talk or basically tell the story of others. It's to help be a voice for those that are behind the wall. I got brothers right now behind the wall, may never come home. And before I get into this thing, because I definitely want y'all to bring the questions, I appreciate everybody liking the live, all that good stuff, man. But before I get into this, I just want to say this, man, as a reminder. Many of us are celebrating. For many of us, this is a merry time of the year. Listen, I'm not on my Scrooge or Bah humbug, none of that stuff, man. This is my first Christmas as a father. I'm really excited. We got the tree up, we got presents, all that. But at the same time, I got brothers calling me from the pen, right? Good brothers, solid brothers. One in particular, Jefferson Ellie's been locked up for 27 years. 27 years, first time offender. It was a serious case. But this is one of the best people I know. And the reason I want to say this is because, one, man, everybody made it out that situation. Everybody. But he's still behind the wall. It's not just him, it's countless many, man. I remember spending time behind the wall. What's going on, Rev? During the holidays, and I said it before, I say it now again. Hands down, the holiday season is the most stressful, most depressing time of the year behind the wall when it comes to prison, man. I appreciate that, Rev. Everybody liking, sharing this out right now. Yo, hands down. What up that way? Because during the holidays, man, it's like, Zendion, you could definitely put the questions in the chat. Because during the holidays, essentially, man, Dark Sage, what's good? It's when you really understand, like, yo, you're away from family. It's weird because almost the rest of the year, at least for me, it's kind of like I could bid my way through. I could program my way through. I can keep myself occupied. But them holidays, see, it slows down. COs take off. There's shortage of staff, less programs. It feels like the holidays in there. At least it did for me. But I was on the outside in. You know what I'm saying? Rev already know, man. He said it's the hardest time. We would try to make the best of what we could when it came to the holidays by getting everybody together, making meals with the brothers. Sometimes we'd make meals and cover every table in the pod just to bring some type of joy up in there, man. But let me tell you, it still did not take away from the fact that we weren't with our families, man. You understand what I'm saying? And I'll say it again the same way I've been saying it. Some people that are in prison, a good percentage of people, they're not bad people. They made a bad decision, a bad choice. But if you look at the other 99% of their life, they were good people. But because of a circumstance, emotion, something, it went left. And there's plenty of people gone. Maybe never, no, they don't get home. What's up, Luch? They don't go home. I know men that made a decision, but they were good people. People that are getting ready to go to professional sports leagues, in college, CEOs, all that made a decision. In the blink of an eye, they're no longer with their families. Somebody said, appreciate that, man. I'm over here. I just had a cup of Keefy too, y'all. No, for real. Somebody said cooking up made it feel a little better. Yeah, cooking made it feel better for sure, but man, you know what I'm saying? Somebody said they got 5 to 16 years they fighting the case, man. I hope you don't get none of that, man. You know what I'm saying? I really hope you don't get none of that. But the holidays were the toughest time. And let me tell you this, man, because I get it. Some people that are in relationships, they waiting for their dude to call home. The phones is crazy during the holidays. And the phones is the biggest place to get tricked up at. Not everybody got cell phones. And them phones during the holidays, everybody wants to get on the phone. Everybody wants to talk. Some people are disrespecting the phone line. Some people are triple clicking, double clicking, whatever clicking. You know, some people are forgetting who was next. It's all types of confusion in there, man. all types of confusion in there during the holiday. The microwave line. They put microwaves where I was at in Virginia, about halfway through the bid. Crazy. Get into it over who got next to warm up a soup. And during the holidays, also, you got to know that people's emotions are higher. They're more easier triggered. And not just in prison out here. Somebody said I ever seen an escape attempt. I have. Well, I was on the camp. I was on Sussex 2. And I'm going to tell you something. This was my first year in the system. First year in prison system. Sussex 2 State Prison, level 4. They had controlled movement. Controlled movement. Anybody's ever done time, what controlled movement means is you can only move with your block. That's it. And the way they had it set up there is they would corral you. The whole boulevard was sectioned off by fences. So you would walk through into one section, they'd lock it up. You go to the next one, lock it up. But if another pod was on the boulevard, they were locked in, so you couldn't get at each other. Right? And I'm going to tell you what was unique about that. Even though you're in prison, because you're only with your people, you know what I'm saying? You're only in that block. You could fall into a false sense of security because I ain't got no beef right here. Not with these 83. Because I think it was 84 in a block on Sussex. But this particular day, we're coming back from the chow hall, and all of a sudden, this young dude that's in our block jumps on this old head. And when I say jump, that's the PG version. Okay? That's what I'm going to tell you. The reason he had jumped on that old head, and this is a story about karma right here, because you never know. And on top of that, they had been in the block together for at least a week. So that tells you that Youngin, I'm about to tell you now, Youngin was he was waiting. And the reason he jumped on the old head was because that old head was the one that had took his father's life. Very serious thing. And somehow, some way, circumstances, karma, whatever it is, they ended up in the same block together. The son of the man who's no longer here and the guy who they said was responsible for it. And they were going, I don't want to say they were going at it because Youngin was getting out on them. They call the code. All the COs are running. We can see them. We're against the fence watching it. The officers that are armed, they're letting off shots. They can't reach us because they're all the way on top of the chow hall. We're all the way near 2 building. If you're familiar with Sussex 2, it's closed now, but y'all will know what I'm talking about. Somebody said, how I get out of a 144. It was 144, all suspended, but 19. I had to do 16 years, 11 months. But what happened was all the officers came, boom. And they opened the gate. They swarmed in. But now at the same time, while all the officers ran over there to neutralize the situation that was occurring on the boulevard, you heard another officer yelling and screaming over the radio. And what happened was, then at the time, the E-Man, that was the leader of the Muslim community, and his brother, one of his brothers, worked in the kitchen. And I don't know how, I don't know what, but back then, they would have the semi pull up. They had a dock to unload the stuff to feed the prison. All right? I don't know how they got back there. I don't know that part. But these two got back there and they got inside the truck, inside the semi truck. And to the best of my knowledge, one, if not both of them, had life sentences. So they were going for it. They were going for it. They were trying to get up out of here. But, and here's the other thing that I think about to this day. I never know the answer. I'm like, yo, did they plan that, or did it just line up right? Were they cool with Youngin and he told them they was going to do that, and then they just was like, yo, when you do that, we going to try to get off this way? Was it an opportunity? Was it like, I don't know how they got there, but they got inside the truck. So now the other officers, they neutralized, but now the officers got to run all the way from basically in front of 2 building all the way back to the kitchen. But when they got in there, they didn't know how to unlock or take the air brake off in the truck. That's what I was told. That's what the officers were bragging about because they were able to stop him. That was the only time I was on an institution where somebody tried to leave, try to get up off there. And you want to know what's ironic? You would think more people would try because the amount of individuals. When I was on Sussex 2 twice. I was on Greensville once. And the amount of people, right, that had life sentences, you would have figured they would have tried to get up out of there and go. But no, not at all. It's not like that. Not like that at all. And I wonder the mentality, and I'm not saying I'm not here to support it or whatever, but there's something to be said when you get that, you just give up altogether. Like, you don't try to go to the law library. You just lay it down. You're good. You're just going to do the life sentence. A large percentage just lay it down. A large percent, they're not even trying. And some people probably think their opportunities are exhausted. But I've seen people that had life sentences. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people that had life sentences make it home because they decided they weren't going to lay it down. The moral of the story is, don't lay it down. But that was a good question because I'm going to tell you. Somebody said, Stefano said, I wonder how many are, man, well, I'm going to say the second one, like it better in there. There's a percentage of people that prefer prison over freedom or incarceration over freedom. It could be circumstantial, but I've talked to individuals. Some individuals, prior to their incarceration, they had housing issues. All right? They lived on the streets, so they didn't have nothing. So when they got locked up, that was basically the equivalent of going to a hotel because then they had a bed that they could lay in, controlled temperature, air, water. They could take showers. They got 3 trays. All right? Some people, right? And then some people, you know, listen, man, mental health is serious. Mental health is serious, man. And there's some people, they go through so much trauma on the inside that they feel like they can't adjust out here when they come home, and they're ready to go right back. Or they do something that'll put them in a situation where they want to go right back or can go right back. Questions. Appreciate the questions, man. Y'all bring the questions for sure, man. Said, can you stay out of trouble if you don't want to get into it with a person? Physical altercation. I would say almost never, right? I mean, you can stay out of trouble if the altercation doesn't happen. You're welcome, Stefano. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't happen, you can try to let that other person initiate, and then you can try to defend yourself, and then hopefully you won't get in trouble. But I would say, man, like, as I used to, okay, so one of my jobs I had in prison, because you get jobs when you're in prison, one of the jobs I had was the inmate advisor. The inmate advisor was able, right, to defend the guys against their institutional infractions. When you catch a charge in there, they would call me, I'd defend the guy, and it was serious because if you don't beat the charge for him, right, guess what? You could lose good time. You could lose freedom. You could lose your phone. You could lose visits, something. But anyways, as I would quite every now and then, I would have these charges that I would be fighting for the guys, and they were like, yo, I didn't start it. I didn't even swing back, whatever. They would still get found guilty because all the hearing officer would say is, oh, they got into a physical altercation. Very seldom do they do like and they had the craziest setup with the laws and the rules in there. You couldn't get footage on certain stuff. It was the craziest, man. That's why you should just never go and be in the system. Which I know I don't have to tell anybody that, but yo, just stay out the system, man. Somebody said, Alex said, have you ever considered on going to a podcast or anything of that nature to tell your story? I've been on several podcasts, and I got the book 144, Prison Pain and the Pathway to Freedom. Tay, I see you. What's going on, man? I appreciate the support. I've been on Ian Bick. I've been on Matt Cox. I've been on Trapping Anonymous. I've been on quite a few podcasts, actually. I'm getting ready to go out to Vegas to do another podcast A whole bunch of stuff, man. I'm fortunate. I get to travel full time, man. And like I tell people, y'all got podcasts or anywhere I can go speak, let me know because my flights are sponsored. I'm trying to move. You know what I'm saying? We trying to touch as many people as we can with the stories and the truth and all that. Somebody said, appreciate that, Chef. Bro, your content is on point. Yeah, I got some more Keefe skits on the way, man. We got more Keefe. I think we got something coming up tomorrow and Christmas Day too, back to back. You know what I'm saying? But listen, man, back to the holiday thing. You know what's worse than being in prison during the holidays? Being in a hole during the holidays. I spent so many Christmases and Thanksgivings and New Year's Eve. It was like that period I was always in a hole, it felt like. I wasn't, not every single year, but enough times. And I remember one time, I'm about to answer that too, Nan. I remember one time I was in a hole listening to the holiday TV through the wall. My headphone wire I put over the cable outlet in the cell and was listening to the TV because they had a population pod or a general population pod above us. Horrible times, man. Getting your Thanksgiving, your Christmas tray through the slot. It's cold. What if I think you mean like your roommate won't let you go to sleep or the guy you sharing the cell with? That's up to you, bro. I mean, you can request to move cells. You can tell him he needs to move and see if he moves, you can, or you can, whatever, have a conversation about it and see how it goes. But, I've never experienced that. I've never been in a situation where my cellie wouldn't let me go to sleep. I don't really understand. I guess somebody could keep you from going to sleep though. Let's be clear. I guess they could. Just came home from 2 years. Glad you back, man. Hey, stay free. Stay free. Dave Esther said, I would just tell on myself. At least you being honest. Deleted said. I was trying not to say that, but hey, man. Because you got to understand, in prison, certain situations arise like it's messed up, but you got to handle it a certain way. Like, I'm just telling you can't really handle it, but it just is what it is, man. It's the unfortunate thing about prison. David Jones, what's good, man? Somebody said, how do I stay out of gang activity as a kid? What area are you in? I don't know if you can share that, Dax. I'm curious as to know. Is it heavy in where you live at, in the geographical location in your community, is in your neighborhood, or is it something you got to go look for? Because we are in a time now where, see, back in the day, like if you lived in the hood, I'm from Chicago, you live in the hood, you can't really duck it. Like you can, but it's extremely hard because no matter what, but like we're in a day now where unfortunately kids that live in the suburbs got nice houses, whatever, they go look for it. So do you got to go look for the activity or is it all around you? Somebody said they celly kept. Yeah, the snoring thing can be an issue. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, what state am I from? I'm from Illinois. I'm from Chicago. I did my time in VA. What was my experience playing poker? Let me tell you something. Poker's a trick up, but I never got into it over the card table. Me personally, never. The one time I did, we weren't gambling. It was like trash talking over spades or something. It was so frivolous, and it was one of my homeboys. He just ego or pride or something got to him. But yo, Tunk, Bidwiz, all that. But man, as far as poker, like low ball, Paducah, Texas Hold'em, you know what I'm saying, Chicago, those things, man. Somebody said I need to come up with an app, prison pod games or something. I was laughing, but then I was like, huh. A place where we could all meet digitally. Huh. Anyways, somebody said a Keefe, man. Yeah. Hey, look, a lot of people go to the hole over. You know what I'm saying? Dax said, I'm worried about failing probation as a juvenile. What will happen? Your best thing to do is don't fail, Dax. That's why I was asking. You don't have to put where you, like, I'm trying to figure out if you got to go look for the trouble, or is it all around you? Because ultimately, you can make the decision not to get in trouble, not to fail probation. But if you don't pass probation, you're probably going to juvenile lockup, prison, etc. Man. Somebody said, Andrew said, I seen a skit that you did and I didn't like it, but then I gave you a chance, went into your channel, now I'm a sub. I F with your vids because I got family in the can too. Appreciate that, Andrew, man. That's love right there, man. I definitely appreciate that. Somebody said, set your bid. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, look, I understand. Some of the stuff I put up here, everybody's not going to rock with. Sometimes everybody do. You know, I appreciate it. But I just appreciate the chance to be heard, man. Because at the end of the day, just trying to help people, man. Trying to remind people not to go back. Trying to keep people from going in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I did state time, man. Peace, Rob. Yeah, I did state time. Desiree, appreciate it. If y'all got questions, put them in the chat. I really appreciate y'all, man. We up here to Stay Free Live. I'm trying to figure out a regular time that I should start going live every day, man. Please let me know. Put that in the chat too as well. What's the funniest thing I seen in prison? Yo, that's a great question. Haven't thought about that. Man. I'm going to tell you something that was pretty funny. So this dude named Big Heavy. Big Heavy is not funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. Big Heavy they called him 454. He was on Greensville. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, go Birds. I'm a Bears fan. You know what we did to them Birds, man. We was on Greensville, but they called him 454. He was a big dude. He's probably like 6-something, 300 pounds, but he was somebody they would call basically a man child. And what that means is he was struggling with some things as far as mental health. He was a big dude, solid dude. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that, man. We definitely fighting to stay free, y'all. But mentally, he was probably still a child. And that's a big issue in prison, by the way. There's a lot of people in prisons that probably shouldn't be in prison. I'm not saying that they didn't commit crimes, but what happens is there's a lot of people that are struggling with mental health that are inside. And they should probably be somewhere like a state facility where they could get assistance, right? But anyways, yes, deleted, yes. Mice and Men, Lenny Strong. And there was this little dude, man, this little small dude named Basim or Basir or something, man. And they were playing chess one day. Heavy could play chess, and they're playing chess. And I don't know what this dude, Basir probably weighed like 100 pounds, like 5'5", like small dude in prison. And Heavy 6-something, 300 and a little bit off, and lift up everything on the weight pit. And Basir get to talking trash to him. Talking da-da-da-da. I guess Heavy beat him in chess, whatever. Next thing I know, Heavy starts chasing Basir. He's a big dude, but there's nowhere you can really go in the pod. It's just the pod. There's 2 stairwells that go up onto the tier. Outside of that, you on the bottom floor. And the COs at Greensville, they not paying attention like that. I'm just saying, back then they definitely weren't. Probably not now. And he tried, I don't know what Basir was thinking. He ran into a dead end, man. So it looked like an elephant chasing a mouse. And he went up there to the top tier and tried to get into his cell, and maybe he was going to get something. I don't know what he was going to do. I don't know. But he went in the cell and closed the cell because you could hit a button. He told the cell he opened the door, and he went in there, hit the button, the cell closed, boom. He thought he was good. He had got in there before Heavy got up there. He forgot one thing, though. Heavy had that, like the leader say, that of Mice and Men, Lenny Strain. Greensville, all the doors are on a track. Okay? You shouldn't be able to do what I'm going to tell you what he did. But he did it. And he grabbed that handle. He just started yanking. Boom. Boom. And I kid you not, you start seeing sparks and smoke coming from the track above the cell. Because he done used all his strength, because Heavy is off the chain right now. Basir ain't got nowhere to go. He in that cell. He's stuck. It's over with. The cell starts to open. Basir was hitting a high note like Mariah Carey. He was going crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a Green Mile situation. He's like, oh, he was look, Heavy pulled the door open, but I'm in the cell with Heavy. Nobody wanted to be in the cell with Heavy. When they moved me up there, they were like, yo, this the only cell we got, or you can go to the hole. It was summertime. Like, man, I got to stay out here. I know it's going to be too hot out there. They didn't have AC yet or none of that. Me and Heavy was cool. I wasn't scared of him. Because my mentality, they even told me, they were like, yo, he was cool with me. My mentality was, as long as I don't do anything to disrespect him, he don't do nothing to disrespect, we cool. Why everybody else scared? Well, I found out that day, the man, if he want to, and I would find out later that the reason he was in there is because he used his hands to take somebody out. The door, he pulled all the way open, but I had ran up there by this time. And another brother, too, that was cool with Heavy, that was in the church. And we was able to, like, at the last second, like, get his attention, talk him down. But we told Bossy, so next time, we going to let him do whatever he do. Because you crazy. He was being can't be disrespectful to everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think he took Heavy's kindness for weakness. Because Heavy was a man-child. Heavy could have been a nightmare for real every day, all day in there. But he was a kind man. And I believe wholeheartedly the reason he ended up in there was probably because he didn't get the support he needed with his mental health prior to that situation that led him in there for a life sentence. And as I think about that, sad part is, again, I'm not saying that he didn't do anything bad, but he was a very kind man. And he just needed help, man. But, yo, you know what I'm saying? Manifest peace. State definitely makes state money. We know the system, man. We know the system. Lord have mercy, boss. Exactly. He was tripping. Slatter said, why we cut the beard? Had to cut it because I'm playing all these different roles. I got these different projects. The beard makes it hard, man. I miss my beard, though. I ain't gonna lie. I miss my beard. That used to be, I would never be like this. And I be shaving. I would never, ever, yo. But the projects, the different things we working on, man, been clean shaven for a minute, man. R.I.P. my beard, man. Which, by the way, did you know in Virginia correctional system, at one time it was illegal to grow a beard. It was illegal to grow your hair. They'll put you in a hole forever. There's brothers that had been in a hole for 10 plus years because they wouldn't cut their dreads. The Rasta brothers, honoring their religion or whatever it is that they were dealing with, their culture, because they didn't cut their hair in the hole for 10 plus years. Y'all gotta know. Real talk, man. And it was so crazy, you couldn't grow your facial. Everybody just had mustaches and sideburns. That was it. In order to grow your beard in the system back then, guys used to take their IDs and irritate their face or do whatever they did so they can get a shaving profile and grow a beard. It was wild, man. And if you got lucky, there used to be a dude that used to sell the waivers on the yard. He'll blank them out, get a copy, and you could use it for a while to get by certain people, but if the COs came out with their reference list from medical, you was late. They was going to shave you up. You understand me? Yeah, the Commonwealth definitely going to get you. Commonwealth told me, the detectives that got me, they said, your son or your grandsons better not ever come back here. I said, what? Lord. 3 soups, a haircut. Hey, it was all so simple. When I had hair back in the day, man, my barber, shout out all my barbers. I used to pay $1.50 and would have the greatest haircut in the history of the planet Earth. Moss Corrections in South Carolina holds people with simple charges for years. Yeah, listen, I want to explain something to y'all really quick, right? I definitely want to explain something to y'all about this really quick. Did you know that if you get locked up, you're not guaranteed to go to court like right away? I need y'all to know that. And the reason I'm saying that is, one, especially in Georgia where I live, you don't go to court right away depending on where you at. You might be waiting 2 years before you go to court without a bond, bail, any of that. Sitting in there. Do you know how much you lose in 2 years? And they say it's innocent till proven guilty. But if you're not found guilty yet, you still sitting in there for 2 years. You understand? Somebody said New York the same way. I believe it. I need y'all to know how crazy and messed up it is because it's about money, right? You get locked up, you riding with your homeboy this weekend, boom, get pulled over, he had something. Now you both in there through the weekend, through New Year's. You might lose your job or anything in 2 weeks. A lot. You could lose your relationship. You lose your house. You could lose a lot in 2 weeks. God forbid, we don't want nobody to lose in 2026 or the rest of 2025. We want everybody right now that's watching this to win and keep adding on. But I'm just saying, for the sake of the conversation, that's how twisted the system is. And if you've never been, and hopefully you haven't, if you've never had an issue with the system, I need y'all to know, man, when you get locked, you don't go to court the next day and figure out what's what. You're going to be sitting there for a minute. And another thing, if you got a serious charge, not only are you going to be waiting, but the anxiety going to be building up. Knox, we on Amazon. Links in the bio. I appreciate that too, Knox. Everybody's been supporting the book 144, Prison Pain and the Pathway to Freedom. Yo, it's all the things I've been through my entire journey, all 17 years, a little bit before, a little bit after. It's actually the second book I dropped this year. I also dropped a Stay Free Reentry Success workbook, man. A reentry workbook for success for you or your loved ones, how to stay free, man. So I'm really excited, man. Going into 2026, I got some more stuff going on. I got some projects going on, man. That's why I had to keep shaving the beard. You understand me? Somebody said I got out on PR bond. That's good. You were blessed, lad. PR bond is a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, don't even, Rob, let me tell you, and here's the other thing for all my people that never been a part of the system, you still playing in the streets, hopefully you're not anymore. Once you're able to go to court and get your time or not get your time, you go to the system, go to the system. If you're on probation, that's a whole nother series of circumstances and situations. So many people, once they're on probation, they never get off probation for the rest of their life. Or they end up going back to prison 2-3 times. They max their time out. Because there's a bunch of different hurdles and obstacles that come with probation. If y'all got questions about probation, how you would deal with certain scenarios, I would love to answer. This is one of the seminars I do with the brothers before they come home because I don't want them to get tricked up. And when I say y'all could ask questions, I'm telling y'all, I travel to a bunch of different prisons. I do talks for emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, leadership 101. I do all these different things, man. I talk about re-entering into society, transitioning after blah, blah, blah. I work with lifers. I work with short time, all this, right? So if y'all got questions, put them in the chat. But listen, probation, parole, that's still a form of confinement. Even though you're in your home, you're not fully free because you're still checking in. And of course, we can go really deep in that thing called freedom, but I just need y'all to know it's really just they giving you more room, right? But the penalty's almost what you coming back. And I don't know if y'all know it or not, and I don't plan on never going back because it's different. You do time, you lose it all, and you come home, you get it back. But then get locked up again, mentally, whoo. And you got to be on point in probation. There's an old saying, check yourself so your probation officer don't have to check you. Don't be looking for the excuses and, no, be on point. I know somebody right now, man, they took a trip out of state. They didn't tell their probation officer. They got comfortable. At first they were asking, then they got tired of it. Well, I don't know, I just ain't feel like it. Okay? Out of state. Thanksgiving. New York. Guess what happens? Car accident. So now he can't get back to where he lives, to the state that he lives. Now he can't get to work. But guess what else he was supposed to do that week? He was supposed to report to his PO, but guess where he's at? He's in the hospital because he got banged up bad. His leg shattered and some other stuff. So he got a call. He had to call his probation officer in the hospital bed, leg shattered, whatever else, arm, boom. Yo, I'm out of state. No, I can't report. He tried to get out. He just, can I report it? Why? Why can't you report? Well, I'm coming to your house. I'm in New York. I went to see family. You'll be getting a violation. That's what they told him. No, are you okay? I'm sorry. And I'm not saying they should, but now he's banged up and he's waiting to get violated. Gotta be on point, man. Somebody said they're on probation now. I gotta take classes. Yo, take all the classes. Take all the class. If you're on probation, take all the classes, volunteer for everything, and show them everything that you're doing. Be proactive. Don't wait for them to tell you to do it. Do it so you can get the target up off your back, and so you can get free sooner. I was able to I had indefinite probation. I got off in 3 years. They passed the law in Georgia, but I used it, and I stayed out of trouble to the best of my ability. I kept the job. I did some other things too. I opened up a business. I was volunteering at different programs with nonprofit stuff like that. But whatever you do, man, be proactive. Rev, appreciate that. Be proactive on your probation, man. Show them that you're accountable by signing up. You got plenty of spare time. You shouldn't even be running nowhere exciting. No more clubs, none of that. Your excitement should be, I'm going to go to this 5K run and pick up trash afterwards with this nonprofit and tell my probation officer all about it. Build connections in the neighborhood, man, in the community. Get into these spaces. Use it as an advantage, man. Somebody said they're not hard on probation in Indiana. That's what's up. And it is different in every state. In Georgia, I was on call-in for like the whole time. And I also came home during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Rob said they still try to mess with you. Every now and then you got that one that's... And in those situations and scenarios, man, sometimes you got to be brave enough to ask for a different PO. Andrew says, how you see the world? That's a check in my mind. I'm going to sue as soon as I get out from wrongfully being accused. Yeah. Somebody said probation is in Nashville is brutal. Cool. How do I become a mentor in VA? You can sign up to become a certified peer specialist and go to the training. Peer support specialist, I think they call it, or peer recovery specialist in VA. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty sweet. You get to work professionally as a mentor in a lot of situations. I like these positions because they're in multiple states. You know what I'm saying? And the qualifications, they need you to be a felon. They need you to have struggled with mental health or need you to have struggled with addiction. So it's good opportunities, man, to do what you want to do professionally. I heard I'm headed to Ohio to speak at London Correctional Facility or London Correctional Center. I keep butchering that. In January. I'm excited. It's going to be the first prison I'm speaking at in Ohio, man. Do they have programs where officers can actually help inmates? They had treatment officers in Virginia, which were like hybrids. They were officers, which they were security, but yet they were counselors, so they were both. And they used to bridge the gap between the counselors and security in reentry. I don't know if they still have those, by the way. Stay free is a call of action. Y'all already know what it is, man. Hey, look, what time should I stream every day? Should it be 9:30 p.m. Eastern? Should it be 6:30 p.m. Eastern? What? Let me know. Put it in the chat. If y'all got any more questions, man, would love to hear from y'all. Again, this is the Stay Free Show, man. Y'all already know what it is. Somebody said 6 p.m. 6 p.m. is good with me because I'm an old head, man. I be in bed early, but I ain't gonna lie. Somebody said my only time arrested was spent 18 days in solitary. Dawn felt like freedom. I already know. It doesn't take much. I will say this, I was so messed up. I used to go to the hole for vacation. My uncle is in MCI Marion. Yeah, we have reentry again now, but like you said, you got to stay on point. You got to stay on point. And it's reentry in some of these spaces, man. That's what we got to know. Are they really preparing individuals to come home? Somebody said Fauci is at you, bro. That's actually my nephew. Shout out to my nephew Fauci, man. We call him Fousey Foo. Nonetheless, man, I appreciate y'all. Listen, it's the holidays, and I just want to say this really quick before I hop up off here, man. Yo, be kind out into the world. You don't know who's going through what. You don't know who's missing a loved one behind the wall, man. I appreciate y'all every time y'all get up here and support. I appreciate y'all supporting the content, all that. Somebody said that can't be your nephew. Nah, he ain't my nephew, though. Well, tell him I'm trying to collab, though. We gonna do something, man. We do an uncle nephew joint. Andrew, I appreciate that support, Andrew. Be safe, Rob. Definitely appreciate that, Andrew. Hey, look, y'all stay free, man. And remember this, man, like, honestly, appreciate the moment. Like, take a second, no matter the situation, especially if you're on this side of the wall, to at least appreciate that. You understand what I'm saying? Walk outside, take a deep breath, and remind yourself that you could be behind that wall, but you're not. If you are behind that wall, because shout out to y'all, I know y'all watching me. Y'all, I know y'all watching me. If you are behind that wall, man, keep fighting forward to your freedoms here. And make sure every step of the way you get a deeper appreciation for your freedom, because that is ultimately what's going to keep you from going back once you get home. You understand what I'm saying? So I appreciate it, man. Potato, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to your father, man. I'm sorry to hear that. My condolences. Definitely my condolences. I lost my father too while I was on the inside. But nonetheless, y'all keep going. Y'all be blessed, man. Be kind to people in this world, man, so we can make it a better world together. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, man. Stay free. Chico, I see you, man. Appreciate y'all.